So last night on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/lecturefan, we were reading a Wall Street Journal article about these Parent Plus student loans that the federal government is allowing parents to take out in unlimited quantities to send their children to universities. It was so sad. They had a story about a parent on there in her mid-50s. She owed over $230,000 in student loans, and she had a salary of like 70 grand. She had taken out like $75,000 in Parent Plus loans for one student, or one of her children, $65,000 for her other children, and then she had a bunch from her own master's degree. And incredible statistics too about 60-70% for some schools of parents that took out these Parent Plus loans are not even paying back the principal. They're either in forbearance, they're in default, they're on income-based repayment plans where they're not even covering the interest, let alone covering the principal. It's staggering. It's absolutely staggering. And I just thought it's so evil. It really is kind of evil for these universities to continue to increase their tuition and fees and then pressuring parents into taking out Parent Plus loans so their kids can go to these schools. And it's so sad. It's really sad. I mean, these parents love their children. These parents really love their children. They want their children to get a good education. And so they're willing to take out $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in Parent Plus loans to send their kids to what they think are good universities. And then they end up, their lives are destroyed. Their lives are ruined. They're buried in debt. They're not going to be able to retire. They'll never be able to pay this back. And a lot of times the students also have a ton of debt on top of what their parents took out. There's apparently some limits on what the federal government will authorize for undergraduate students to take out, but there's no limit on the Parent Plus. So the undergraduate student, kids or what, adult children, will go to these expensive universities. They'll max out their undergraduate student loans, and then the universities will tell them to go talk to your parents about doing a Parent Plus loan. And think about these universities. These universities are bloated administrative budgets. They're building all of these brand new buildings. They're paying professors outrageous sums of money. They're wasting money here. They've got administrators sitting on Facebook all day collecting huge salaries, and they just keep doing it, and they just keep raising tuition because they know that the parents and the students will be able to take out federally guaranteed student loans. And I made the comment that this idea of these student loans is very similar to other aspects of government funding, to where there's zero risk. It's similar to the subprime mortgage crisis and a lot of other programs where the universities never lose. The universities cannot lose. If these people don't pay their loans back, or if they pass away or something like that, the federal government, the federal taxpayer, ends up picking up that tab. It's similar to like a lender in a conforming mortgage where the lender has no skin in the game. The lender makes the loan, and then these government-sponsored enterprises like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac then immediately purchase the mortgage loan on the secondary market. And so there's no skin in the game for mortgage lenders, just like there's no skin in the game for these universities. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking to see these sad stories about people's lives being ruined with the student loan debt. And these universities don't care. These universities do not care. They keep raising tuition, they keep raising fees, they keep raising all of this stuff. And the reason that they do it is because they know the federal government is going to be there to pay it, and they're going to get their money. And they get their money and they spend their money, and the students go on with life with the destroyed life, and the parents' lives are ruined, and the universities don't care. The universities simply do not care. It's a really horrible, horrible situation. It's a crisis in this country. It really is a crisis in this country. I think I've got a solution for it. The solution is Get the federal government out of the student loan industry. The federal government should not be giving taxpayer dollars for people to go get stupid degrees that they don't need and to give out these outrageous sums of money in guaranteed student loans to people. It's ruining people's lives. It's ruining people's lives. And I was commenting about how much corruption is there in this system. How many of these universities and other people that are profiting off of this have gone to Congress and Democrats in Congress and pushed this? And so now Congress is continuing to fund these student loan programs and continuing to guarantee student loans just because the universities want them to, because the universities are fat and happy, very fat and happy. And I've worked in universities before. When I was in college, I did work programs with the universities. They're bloated. The administrators and all these other employees at the universities sit there all day on Facebook. I know this for a fact. And why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're an administrator at the university and you can hire family and friends to come have really cushy, easy jobs where they don't have to work and they can sit there on Facebook all day and they can collect a really nice salary on the backs of poor people and low-income people and their parents going into debt for their entire lives. Of course, people are going to do that because that's human nature. We're not all, we're not all angels. Humans aren't angels. So, real easy solution. Cut federal involvement in the student loan industry completely. It's like, look, if we want to have government support for universities and government support to help people go to college, do it at the state level. Have your state do it. It's not something for the federal government to be involved with. And here's what happens. When that happens, immediately tuition and fees and costs come way, way down. Because all of a sudden people are going to be paying attention to the costs, and you're going to have private lenders. I mean, these are loans that private lenders would never give out. Do you think a sane private bank would loan out $100,000 for somebody to go get a sociology degree or an anthropology degree where they'd be lucky to make 30 grand coming out, if that? I mean, it's stupid. It's obviously stupid. And it's like somebody made the comment like, well, maybe we should just have the government only give out federally backed student loans for, degrees that we need and that will enable people to pay back the loans. And it's like, sure, that's a good start. And I'm fine with that as a start and as a step in the process of completely eliminating. But this entire system, the only way to solve this system is to completely eliminate federal government involvement with the student loan industry. It's totally unfair that American taxpayers, hardworking people that maybe they never went to college and they're paying a lot of taxes, and those tax dollars are going to fund a bloated university system and being used to put poor families and their parents and the students into debt that's destroying their lives. I mean, this is a real crisis. It's going to be a big, big problem. I mean, I could keep talking about the actuarial numbers that the government's using in terms of how much they think they're actually going to get paid back on these loans is way off. It really is a financial crisis coming down the chute if we don't get this fixed. And of course, I'm a voice in the wilderness. I'm a voice in the wilderness calling for eliminating federal government involvement in student loans. But that's the only solution. It really is the only solution. Otherwise, and it's like, if I was a Democrat, I would, attack Democrats. Why don't you care? Why don't you care about low-income parents whose lives are being ruined by the Parent Plus loan program? Do you not care? Do you not have any feelings? Do you not care about people? Why don't you care about these are poor people and parents that love their children and are trying to do right by their children, having their lives destroyed. And then think about how bad that makes the children, the students feel. Dude, if my parents had their lives destroyed and went into, $100,000 in debt so that I could go to school, like that's something I would never be able to live with. I could never be happy with that. So there's so many negative side effects to this: the financial, the economic, the family, the social, all these different problems. We have got to get the federal government out of the student loan industry. If you guys like the channel, please subscribe. Trying to grow the Lecture Fan YouTube channel. Check me out on Twitch live at twitch.tv/lecturefan, on Twitter at lecturefan, at LCTRFAN. Thanks, guys.